Press that, which means the audio should be working now. And it is, because I can hear myself on Twitch, so I'll just mute that. That's fine. Let's take the holding card off, and that should reveal the screen. And let's press the button there, and then, yeah, it'll transition, and we're there. So we'll just take that text off as well. We don't need that. Hello. Thank you, Khornight, for coughing. So, hello and welcome to the first recap for 3C.
I apologise for coughing over you talking about what you're doing on your you know.
It's the level of professionality that people have come to know and love with our stream, to be honest, Khornight, so that's fine.
Crap.
My chair's a bit low, so I better go up a bit as well. So mic check, that's fine. If people can hear you coughing, that's fine. So 3C recap for match day 1. I'm here, obviously. Khornight's also here. You've heard him spluttering as well. But we're joined by a very special guest, Dreamlangaming. Say hi.
Hi, you're right. Very special might be overselling it, but...
No, not at all. It's our first guest, really, isn't it, Khornight? We're honoured, very much so.
I mean, well, was Danton originally a guest?
Well, I think Danton's a contributor now, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, but, maybe people start as guests and move on to being contributors.
That's true. That is true.
I think you started as a contributor on my stream first.
I think that's right. But again, bit of history. The only reason I am actually doing this is because I believe you're too lazy to actually do it regularly, Khornight. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Now, yesterday I checked. I'm going to turn myself down just a little bit. Yesterday I checked the levels, and we also cross-posted to YouTube as well. I don't know if you saw that. That was quite an easy button press. It was amazingly easy in the end. But yeah, I mean, you and Danton yesterday were really loud, and I was quite quiet. So I've upped my level a bit and turned you guys down a bit. So hopefully that level's good. Tom, you're the only one listening, I think, so far. So let us know. Yeah, that's it. Right. Should we?
Cool story, bro.
Cool story. Thank you. We're ready with the torpedoes already. So let's have a look at 3C then. All the betting's in. Have you done the bot for next week, Khornight, for both the championships and for the forthcoming?
Season? Yeah. I mean, of course I have.
Of course he has. He's right on it.
Give me a second. All right, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Well, the first game we're going to look at is the admin game. So this one doesn't count. This was the Goth Gougers versus the Goblins, and I'm not sure that's actually right. 2-1, because that I think means that Broccoli lost that game, but I don't think he should have done, should he? Dreamland, have you kept an eye on the chat in the on the forum? I thought it was that Broccoli could play, Bambala Cha 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 couldn't play.
So what I don't quote me on this, obviously, but what I think happened was they had an agreed match time that,
one of them.
due to UTC confusions, Broccoli missed their originally scheduled time, and then they couldn't find time to redo it. So that's what I think has happened, is that they had a scheduled time that then Broccoli was either an hour late for or an hour early for. I don't know how that worked.
I hate those
time conversions and stuff like that. But
yeah, I hate those, because I mean the OC. I mean, quite rightly, being a league admin, I can completely understand, because it's there's no more pain in the arses than other people, but to miss a game like that and then to count against you, that's really hard. I think that's really harsh, but I guess it's the rule, right? So yeah.
Also, I think you saying about it being an admin, I think it's more inclined. Like, I know if I was admin, it would just be I'll take the loss, just sort of like.
Yeah,
to keep it running smoothly and stop any disputes or anything like that. But I don't know. That's from what I read, but that was sort of skim reading the Discord. I don't know if that was actually the case or anything like that.
Yeah,
I think quite a lot of the big leagues, especially like to try and keep things even and stuff, have like specific rules. I know UK BBLs have a very open rule set that anyone can read. I'm pretty sure OCC also have a set of rules, but I think it's more amongst the admins about exactly how the adminning of games goes. Personally, as an admin, I tend to just choose draws, because like it's the worst outcome for everyone. Like you need wins to do well in a competition, right? And a draw is is basically the closest you can get to penalising both sides for games not being played. So unless there's an obvious like this person was at fault, I'm more likely to try. I'm more likely to say we should just make it a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. But again, I guess Broccoli is an odd admin. And I know at RPS that we vote against admins, don't we? If the admin can't organise it, then we kind of vote against them because we really, admins should know better, really. But harsh, I think, because I mean, I just relating to my own history in OCC. I think when I've done the worst thing possible. No one should ever do this. So this is kind of a lesson for everyone as well. But I can only play late because I've got kids, right? So I agreed to play, I think, half an hour earlier than normal, with the proviso that if I can't make it, I'll try my best, and if not, we can play later. And in the end, I couldn't make it, but the other coach wouldn't accept the later time, like half an hour later or 45 minutes later, and then admin lost that one because I didn't make the right time, which is, by the letter of the rules is right, but it kind of penalised me trying to be flexible and accommodate someone else. So I don't. The answer to that is just don't accommodate anyone else and say, right, this is the time I can start and that's it.
I mean, that is one of the problems with a set. Some sets of rules can lead towards so there is definitely some people who game the system. But even if not gaming the system, there's just a few edge cases and stuff where
it's edge cases.
You feel bad making a ruling in the way the rules are written because it may not, the two coaches may not have put in equal efforts to get a game played.
I mean that's happened once, I think, in my entirety at the OCC, maybe twice. So yeah, it's not really.
It's not complaint about OCC; it's complaint about having to have a system of rules in that make.
Exactly. Hate the player, not the game, or something. So Dreamland, any issues with scheduling? Because you come from Rebel, don't you? I think you were saying.
Oh, I played in Rebel. I've played in a couple of different. I've also done Pony as well with the RPS leagues. I did a season of that before I had to cut down on the number of sort of scheduled leagues I was in. And in general, it's just about sort of. This is a game played almost exclusively by older gentlemen. I think it's fair to say. There's obviously some more diversity now, but in general, it's a lot of people with kids and families and stuff like that. So it's just being sort of as flexible as you can be in a sense. Like, I don't have kids or anything like that, but it's sort of like, okay, I'll play any time between 5 at night and 11 at night. If you can only do 11 at night and I've got to inconvenience myself a little bit staying up late, it is where it is. It's just, that's sort of the part of the scheduling leagues is you can't just play when you want. If you want to just play exactly when you want, then that's why we have CCL and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm very much of the just make do where you can, just sort of and make it work.
I am absolutely as well. I mean, again, you meet them rarely in OCC, but you get some coaches who can only this is it, 7:30 at night UTC or UTC +1. That's it. I can only start at this time, which is like you say, Dreamland. I think you've got to be a bit flexible, haven't you?
I can start between 6:20 and 6:22 on Thursdays.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. Anyway, right. So that's the first game. So that's the first one covered. Right. The next one is our game. Brilliant. The joke is, Dreamland, that we now spend 45 minutes talking about play-by-play for my account, but I won't do that. I'm going to transition.
Well, it's fun because I won, so I'm quite happy to talk at length about the game.
Right. Let's find the right screen, which I think is this one. Right. So let's find our game. I think it is. Here it is. Right, so I left F11 that, so it's nice and big, so everyone can see it. So it was. I'll just stop the playback there. So it was. I lost 2-1 in the end, but I think for me, what the questions I've got a couple of questions about this game, and Dreamland, I'm glad you're on, so we can answer it. Is the questions for me for this game against the Bash team is: 1, did I take my chances on the ball at the right time? 2. Could I have stalled out a score for a draw, I guess is the other question. And 3, is there anything I could have done to prevent the score back? Are my questions, really. And I'll just really quickly talk you through some of the questions here. And I'm sure Khornight's got his head in his hands. I'm not going to do this in too much detail, Khornight, you're quite right. But I've got a kicker right.
I literally save said nothing.
And I could feel the vibes across the thing. Right, so we've got I think the first turn here. Right, and I've thought about this a bit. So I kick short, hoping for a blitz. But considering the Super Rotters movement 5, I probably should have kicked deep, right? What do you think? That's my first question. To Dreamland first, because he's my opponent, and then Khornight, you can blather on afterwards.
I want to be a little bit cagey just because of the amount of elf teams and the amount of kick I've got to face before I give the answer here. But yeah, I would much prefer a short kick and take the chance with the blitz, especially sort of even if you like just looking at that setup and just where it landed. So you blitz through that rotter there and you put some pressure on the ball, but I've got means of recovery there.
Yeah.
And with an edge 4 dodge piece still being in range, I've got quite good ball recovery still. I would say, like in my opinion, I would say I can, as long as I've got a hit on the ball, I'm not as worried as I normally would be on a bash team about recovery because I have that piece. Whereas if it goes deep, I then have to really sort of focus on not getting my team split on that first turn and sort of being able to work my way back up. And also, when you say it's movement 5, so if it goes on the back line, I'm not even getting up to the line of scrimmage if I use all my movement until at the earliest 3 or 4. And then I've only got 4 turns to sort of get up the pitch and score. So, like, as you can sort of see, you put it up on screen there, it's sort of, I'm back on the line with the ball pretty much turn 1 at the halfway line, and it just gives me more time to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I see, I'm not so certain about this. It's the 8-turn drive, right? So kicking deep is not actually as advantageous as if it was a short drive. Personally, I'd have set up differently. So I'd have gone for probably an offset LOS type thing and tried to make it look like I was choosing one side, which would force Dreamland to kind of, to put things on the LOS in the hope, and if there's a perfect defense, he loses out on blocks, and if there's a blitz, he has too many players too far forward, right? So yeah, it makes him make a decision about what he's got to do, and you get to kick after he's set up, after he's set up compared to your setup, if you see what I mean. So you should be planning you should be thinking about where you're kicking when you're, setting up. And you didn't set up for a short kick blitz, did you? You set up for spread everything apart. Yeah. And if you wanted a blitz, you really should have gone for one side so that he had to kind of set up equally one-sided.
Yeah, I normally would set up asymmetrical, but the reason I didn't in this instance was because it would have put 3 players next to each other, and with the Beast and Nurgle, I really didn't want it to stick to like more than 1 or 2 players. Which I think as the game went on, I think there's a time, I think for later in the first half, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dreamland, and maybe in the second when he was sticking to quite a few, but in general he was only sticking to 1, which was kind of my aim really. But yeah, that's why I didn't set up 3 together, because put the Beast in there and he can just stick to them all, and then that's 3 players sort of out. So that's why I set up spread apart. But yeah, I mean, I take your point absolutely that if I'd put them all on one side, then I'm faster than him, so I should have perhaps done that to gain the advantage of moving around the outside or whatever. So yeah.
But then if you're spreading out, I think kicking deep is better. So,
yeah.
Your ability,
so I made the worst decisions for both sides. I spread out and then kick short, basically.
Because you spread out, he's got a lot of players also spread out, and probably it's not easy to blitz through them, even if you do get a vaguely favourable kick, right? It's unlikely to be all the way outside of his area. It's more likely to be somewhere near where you click, and to get there, you probably have to blitz through 1 player and still do a bunch of dodges. And in an 8-turn drive, I'm less excited by that idea, although I do often do it. It's a high variance, high reward choice, isn't it? You know.
I mean, again, I'll just really briefly talk about the first half, Dreamland. I think you caged it really well. There's not much to say about that. I mean, I'm just clicking on my turns here, so you can see where the ball was. I mean, that's a perfect cage there. There was no inducements really. I think I had 20k. I think, or you had 20k. I can't remember. If there was much inducements in play.
I don't think there was anything bought. The difference was small. I don't think anyone scummed anything either. I don't think there was any inducements bought.
And I think the only
we'd be able to see the babe if there was a babe, and if it's so small.
I think the only pain for me was this one, and I guess you knew we'd be talking about this, Dreamland. Is this point here where I've got, you can see on the pitch there, I'll move this player to here, then I can block that one up, and that's a 2 die. hope them just push them away is fine, or get a down. I got a defender stumbles in the end, so that was fine. And then I'm going to come in with a strength 4 witch to blitz the ball carrier, but she double ones the dodge, and that was disappointing because I think that was my probably best chance on the ball. I don't think I really had a chance before then, to be quite honest, because it was caged really well and there was often guard around it, so I couldn't really do it. And what's different about this time is that the ball carrier's blodge as well. So my leaper he hasn't got tackle. So yeah, I'm waiting for powers anyway. But with the witch with 4, I think it would have been, he's got guard. So yeah, it would have been 2 into 1.
It's 2 into 1, yeah.
But 3 dice is obviously a more higher chance to get a power. So I was disappointed that happened, but it is Blood Bowl, and that does happen. And then I think there was a leap a bit later, maybe.
That was in the second half.
The second half, yeah. So after that, I mean, again, should I? Oh, let's start. Yeah. So should I, at the start of this half, sorry, it's going all over the place. So should I, at the start of the half, moved some of the players? Well, most of them were in contact, so I don't think I could have really, or should have really moved them when it was critical to get the ball first. But I don't know. Well, I mean, what was your take on that, Dreamland?
So we're sort of, I think it was the best turn to go for it. I think it was probably the best chance you had in the game, and it was from me. This is the downside of the move 5 ball carrier, is this is your turn 6 that you went in on, so I've got 2 turns left after that, so I'm only just in range, and I made a move hoping to get, if I remember correctly, hoping to get knockdowns. Like, the move into that cage was sort of dependent on getting some knockdowns, and I think it was a turn of a lot of pushes, and just left myself with too much to do and sort of forced it through. So, like you said, you had the easy chance on the ball that without a snake you would have had 3 dice, and like you said, while it's on blodge, I still think that I don't know the percentages exactly, but it's got to be in the 40% chances. So I think it was probably, we're going to look at the second half as well, but I think it was probably the best chance you had in the game, and I don't think personally I can't think there was any players that were base that would dodge apart from the ones on the beast. So I think moving anyone first would have just been adding dice potentially to a reroll that you might have wanted on the ball sack. So
and yeah, you're right. It's about 45% before rerolling with 3 dice. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have rerolled if I hadn't got a power on the first 2, I would have rerolled that. I think because at that point it's pretty critical because like you say, it's 2 dice on the ball, which I think throughout the game that was the only time I had 2 dice or potential 2 dice on the ball. Anyway, but anyway, yeah, and then it just got ran in. I think you did have to GFI, didn't you? I think, yeah.
Yeah, I did on turn 8. I had to do a GFI.
But yeah, that was oh no, that's set up. But yeah, that was fine. And you had a reroll in the hold as well for that. So yeah, that was okay. All right, and second half. So I set up again fairly aggressive on one side, and we moved in. And again, I wasn't that happy about this, but I didn't really have much choice because I wanted to score fairly early. I didn't want to really stall it out because if you can see the damage box at the bottom there, I already had 2 badly hurt and an MNG in the box. So I was 3 down. I didn't have. I think I had 1 bench, so I was 3 down already, and I just didn't like the way it was going. So I found a sort of a lane to run through. And again, I think the witch was quite lucky to get there, but it did still mean you had 2 dice on it. And again, I think I was fortunate here because you got you didn't have tackle, which was great, but you re-rolled it, and then that was into double skulls, so that was fine. I'm thinking at this point for my turn 11, should I have maybe stalled? But I'm not sure how effectively I could have stalled. I mean, he's movement 8. So I probably could have done, actually. I could have probably ran it towards the other side and then hit Helium maybe with the witch, and that maybe would have given me an extra turn. But in a way, an extra turn for what? Because I want to score another one on you, but I'm giving you 1 less. So I don't know. Khornight, you always say I score too early. So what do you think? And then Dreamland will come to you after that.
Yeah, you do always score too early, and this was too early. Yeah. I mean, like you want, especially against a team like Nurgle who are slow. Dreamland just said, his ball carrier takes 2 turns to get into range, and that's from the LOS, or even beyond the LOS. So by giving them more than 3 turns, like the ideal is you've got 2 turns, he's got 3 turns, but because he's got to rush so much, you're going to get a scoring range player on your turn 15, and then sack him and score on your turn 16. That would be like the ideal. So scoring on turn 11 is definitely too early in my book. Even 12, like it makes a massive difference every turn you take away from a slow team like Nurgle.
Yeah. That's probably could. Yeah, Dreamland. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just going to completely agree with that. Especially in the situation where you're giving up dice on the ball to score that early as well. Like, you could have made it safer on 10 and scored on 11, and I probably wouldn't have had a chance. I couldn't have got back enough to screen off anyway, and you could have just been a little bit safer and then moved up just that turn slower. I think the turn makes a big difference. Just that one turn can make a difference, and I wouldn't have been able to get back too much to screen anyway, because a lot of my players, if you sort of look at there, a lot of the players are tied up there, really. There's not. I got back the sort of player for the second year, I double skulled, and I could have moved, say, the Rotter back as well. But I'm not getting a lot more back than that in that situation anyway.
No. Okay. No,
so I would have just gone for it. And tried to score 1 turn later, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right in the analysis. I think I should have probably done that. I could have blitzed Helium with the Witch, I think. Or I could have moved him clear, first of all, to about here, I think it is, without GFIs. Blitz with the Witch, and then dodged out Caligula, who's got sidestep anyway, and dodge. So yeah, he could have moved back into the backfield as well. So I could have even probably got another turn out of it by moving up here, because I wouldn't have moved these guys, I don't think, to keep them in kind of position. But okay. Oh, interesting. Oh, anyway, all right, cool. And then the setup for you. On your turn 12, I think it started off. Again, I think the kick went. It should have gone deep. I think it went fairly deep, but I think you
went deep. Yeah.
You went. Did it land on you, or did you have that one where you can put a ball under the player under the ball? I can't remember. But
high kick.
Yeah, high kick. Yeah. Oh no.
I can't remember what the kickoff result was.
Well, it's there. So yeah, it looks like I kicked deep, but you picked it up, which is fine. And then you caged it really well. I didn't really have a chance on the ball. I think maybe turn 13. Yeah, maybe turn 13. I had a chance. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the 1D, I think, where I failed the leap with a reroll. So again, that's a bit unlucky, but again, it would have been quite lucky to leap in and get the POW, I think, which would have been what I needed. And then there was some nonsense a bit later on about getting 2 red, but yeah, I didn't. I mean, that was a both down and a defender stumbles, which wouldn't have helped anyway. But
it was 2 red needing both POWs.
Yeah, it was 2 red needing both POWs. Yeah, which I think is quite unlikely. But yeah, I mean, and then that's it. And then there was not much. I didn't have many left. Then again, you can see by that turn, I got 1 KO'd and then 4 in the box. So yeah, then you ran it in, and it was fine. I don't think you even needed GFI, did you, for the last one?
Not on the turn 16 score, no.
No. And then my last one. Okay, last one. Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance for the 1 turn because yeah,
it was your half.
It was my half. So yeah, that was it. Anything else to say? So I probably should have stalled. I think my takeaways are I should have kicked deep and thought about the setup a bit more, and I should have stalled out a bit more. I think that's the 2 takeaways I can take from that. Anything else you want to add, Dreamland, to that? So you played really well, and I can see why you got a great record. But yeah,
I think it sort of. I would say that I was very lucky in the first half, and I think if the 3 dice that you would have had, if you'd got the ball loose there, I think it would have been a very different game, because even if it's held to 0-0, I think it's a lot easier for you to stall out I think it puts you in a much easier second half situation just on a small change absolutely. There. It wasn't super unlikely. It still might, even if you had got the dice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not guaranteed. We're talking like it was guaranteed. It wasn't. It's not at all guaranteed, but it is. Ultimately, it's 3 dice on it, isn't it? So, what did you say? It was 40 something
45,
percent?
it was about 45. Like I think Dreamland said it was in the 40s, and I think it's about 45, 46, something like that. But and with a reroll, maybe 60% if you still had a reroll at that point. But
Yeah, I
even
did.
if you only got pushes, it would have kind of messed up the forward momentum of the team as well, right? If you just hadn't snaked at that point and didn't skull the actual blocks, it would also end up with the ball carrier being pushed a square further back, and a lot of contact, and it would have been really hard for the Nurgle to pick themselves free of that. I think
Yeah,
a lot harder than
you might have had another chance turn 7, given that many of my players were tied up. I probably would have needed to make a couple of 3+s at least to make it safe. Or like there would have been some dice involved in regaining that sort of position.
Yeah.
Without that, I think.
All right, cool. Well, let's.
But really, it's all about one of you was thinking more long term and planning better, and the
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
one
Yeah, and again, I can blame the dice, and I think I did say total dicing, but then according to the bots, which again there's provisos on that, but 73 and 100 I did, and 67 to 100, so fairly even. So it wasn't a dicing really. So bloody felt like I think failing 2+s always feels like a dicing, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, it isn't really. Do you know what I mean? So
I mean, it's really hard to quantify, and this is why
we both hate this dice analysis, don't we? Because it's a crutch for when you've done badly, and it kind of doesn't teach you anything when you win, if that makes sense. So yeah, it is bad, but I think it's always fun to look at, especially as I'm hoping for Ethered's actions were better than 1 in 100 games. That's what I'm looking for every time. But
no, I think it's difficult because this sort of says, "Oh, your dice were great, like pretty good over the course of the game," but you go like, "Yeah, but the one instance they weren't was a critical one." Like, so you go, "Yeah, you probably rolled a lot over and above the amount of pals, and your dodging was probably quite good." But if you fail critical actions, it doesn't matter how great the rest of them, how great it was dodging people away on 2+, just not get knocked down if you're failing the one that you actually need. So
but the thing is, it's how your opponent plays and how both of you play decides how many critical actions you have to make. There's choices going along in the game that decide how many critical actions you roll, and if you roll a lot of them, you're going to fail, and you're going to fail some of them, and that's going to look terrible in the dice log.
Absolutely.
But if you're massively outplaying your opponent, it doesn't matter if you roll skulls at particular times, because nothing you ever do is really critical, because you're always ahead of your opponent by so much. And that's where it can often say, "Oh my God, your dice were terrible," but actually what happened was you were forced to make some dodgy plays and you didn't pull them off, and
exactly. And
it wasn't really the dice, it was being beaten by your opponent.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's 45 minutes on my game, so that's the allotted time, which is great.
About standard.
About standard. Well, no, it's good. It's good. Good to learn, isn't it? And it's even better when your opponent's on as well, so you can hear from their perspective. Okay, so that's good. So you got some levels out of that, didn't you, Dreamlands?
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do that before we look at next week's team. And Khornight, you'd be pleased to know, I don't think the runner got hit once, and he got an SPP as well, because I did a cheeky little throw with him.
He definitely got hit once, because you were using him to mark someone and turn 15 or 16 or something. I remember watching you base up with the runner at some point when he was on the pitch. Might have been turn 8, I can't remember.
Could have been turn 8. Okay. Well, anyway, he survived this time, and the witch survived.
But that does lead us on to predictions.
Oh yeah. Sorry. God. Do we have to?
Well, Danton and Khornight both thought that Dreamlangaming would win that game. Is that the Danton's first points of the week, by the way?
Danton's got 1 already. So, but
okay, there you go.
So, and who else? You.
And me, of course. Of course, I voted against.
No faith in me at all. Okay, that's fine. You're joint leaders with Gruff now. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's done. All right. Next game then. Let's have a look at this one. Now, I think it's the Gassy. Oh, that's us. Hit Me Baby One More Time versus Altdorf Academical, and I think I recall Ali saying on.
He got banged.
Yeah.
Banged on.
So he got banged on, didn't he?
I believe his actual words were, "This reminds me why I hate this game," or something.
Yeah, it was absolutely that. let me get to the right screen.
He actually lost a plus agi blitzer from his human team in this game, so that was probably the plus agi guard blitzer who was on 26 SPP.
Yeah,
dead, and he's got about 3 or 4 MNGs for next game to look forward to as well, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, I got the game up here. I mean, it was a 2-0, so I mean, we can kind of guess how the game went. I mean, this is just turn 1. And you can see that the ogre's off already. He's badly hurt. And then by oh no, it's not quite there yet. Turn 4, he's got one of his catchers off. Turn 5, again 1 KO, and they're all gone. So yeah, it was pretty horrible by the look of it.
I mean, humans don't like playing against Clawpom at the best of time, but no. A proper oh no, it wasn't Clawpom, it was Undead. I apologise, but there was a Pom white in there, right? So maybe there was a lot of piling on.
Oh, that's quite good though. He
some dice on the ball there.
Yeah, he got dice on the ball. I mean, this is turn 6, and he's got it's only a 1 die, but he re-rolled it into a defender stumbles. He's got tackle, yeah, and he actually KO'd the ghoul there, so that's quite a good recover. But I'm guessing in their turn 7 they recovered. Yeah, so he sent one of the whites in, and then must have recovered on turn 8, I think. Yeah. Oh God, going all over the place. Yeah. Oh. Watch Ethel play with the mouse. Right. Yeah. So he got another casualty there. He managed to pick it up, but he got blocked, and he made MNG a fairly fortunate bounce. And then yeah, he obviously ran it in at that point. So yeah. So I mean, look at the casualty box. This is the start of the humans' second half, and he's got 5 in the cas box already, including his dead, as you talked about earlier, didn't you? The AG4 guard blitzer.
Yeah.
Weird Pete Ashton, he's MNG. This other blitzer MNG as well as the badly hurt ogre and catcher. So yeah, just run out of players by the look of it. I mean, at the start of the half, he's got how many there? 3, 6, 7, 8 players left versus 11.
Yeah. So his exact words in chat were, remembered why I stopped playing, and then posted a picture of his cas box with 7 people in, with red crosses above. Well, red crosses and a death. And he also mentioned that his TV at the beginning of the game was 1890, and next game will be 1400. So
ouch.
Yeah.
We can just see there's 4 players by.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I was wrong. In the first half, he didn't score. He scored Hit Me Baby one more time, scored 2 in the second half. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. He's only got, 3 players left on the pitch there? You can see the
4.
4, sorry. He's got the a full casualty box there, more or less. So, yeah. I mean, that's adding an insult to injury, isn't it, at the end there, to get blitzed and then get the ball recovered and a little cheeky handoff to score. But yeah, not much to say. Let's just have a look at what the dice log says. I'm sure it will be show Ali as not having great dice.
Total dicing.
That's what it says. And C-Perv at 94 and 100, so he hardly failed anything. And then 41 in 100 for poor old Ali. I'll just try and get the spike bot. There it is. And yeah, I mean, again, it's a similar story if we look at the stats. So 55 blocks versus 22, 15 armor breaks, 4 casualties, 4 KOs, 1 death, 2 surfs. I mean, they did get 1 back, I suppose, but even so, yeah. So a bad day at the office for Ali, really, which is depressing because I'm pretty sure I bet on him to win that one. Dreamland, did you see this game? Any have you played either of these guys before? And any comment on that? Did you come up with C-Pervert, as it were?
Yeah, I think I've played it. I think he was in. I've played him at least once, but I get a feeling he was in at least 2 divisions that I've played in before. And I think I've got lucky both times with it. Especially early Undead versus early Nurgle, you have to get lucky to get anything out of that game. But obviously, a very good coach. But you don't even need to be a good coach if you only have to play against 3 players. I think if you can just remove the entire team, it makes Blood Bowl quite a simple game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the team is sort of very efficient. I think it's starting to get to the point though where undead sort of plateaus, and there's not really much more. You're adding sort of skills that don't really add that much, and you're just bloating yourself.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we'll have a look at
I
the
think
team
right now it's
at
in
the
its
end,
sweet
but
spot.
yeah, he's got everything he needs at the moment, hasn't he? Old Sea Pervert. So yeah, and
Yeah, outside of stats, I think that team's sort of at the best point it can be at. I think it's sort of in that range.
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I guess we better do this betting then, Khornight. What are we looking at for this one?
But you didn't even go for Ali. You went for a draw.
Oh.
But yeah, me and Danton both went for the undead in this one.
Okay. Oh.
I mean, personally, I'd like to get more levels on the mummies so they can hopefully get a double at some point.
Yeah,
like one of them's one SPP. One of them's at one SPP away from another level, and it's worth hoping for something that more than just another grab player.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's get rid of that text box. Back to the game. Okay. Next one is Engineering Chaos versus Pale Penguins. So this is the Horrible Chorf team versus the High Elves, I think, isn't it?
Dark Elves, I think.
Oh, that's it. The other Dark Elf team. That's it. So 2-2. So let's get this one up quickly.
I saw the headline from this game, which was just 2 deaths. I didn't see anything else. Just saw 2 deaths.
Okay.
2 good deaths.
Was it good? I didn't see what players it was. I just saw 2 deaths.
I saw death and was happy. That was it.
Well, let's have a look. So 2-2. So I'm guessing quite quick scores from both. You can see the Hobgoblin with the ball there, moving to the middle. Oh, loose ball, and then recovered by a hateful Bull Centaur.
Oh, both deaths were for the Dark Elves.
Oh, that's a shame. And then it looks like the Bull Centaur, yeah, just you can see there that they're just running it in. So that's fine. Did Dark Elves 1 turn then? I'm guessing not. No, it doesn't look like it. That's turn 8. That's the Dark Elf turn 8. That's the Dark Elf proper turn 8. And no, they didn't. They just moved it to that point. Okay, so second half. Yeah, good. A deep recovery followed by a fairly early score. So he basically did a recovery. I mean that's well no a 2+ pass I guess. Is he AG5? I guess he must be. Yeah, AG5 2+ pass. Failed the first catch but made the second one. That would have been squeaky bum time I guess on a 3+. But then she scored straight away. I mean again could he have stalled out here? Do you reckon?
Do the Chorfs have a wizard?
I don't. They were down TV. I don't know what the inducements were.
Yeah, they did have a wizard. Yeah, so I guess that's why they scored quite quickly because it's not grayed out there. So yeah, they still had the wizard to play. So yeah, I guess that's why you would score, wouldn't you? Not stall.
Because there's the Bull Centaur who's kind of close enough to be a threat.
Yeah,
and with the wizard too.
And he's got 2 dice on those other 2 Dark Elf players, hasn't he?
I mean, you wouldn't have been able to make it safe. But you are, like, maybe after, maybe at this point, Rusi felt comfortable, or, maybe he was he thought he could get another turnover.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the setup for the Chorfs. What is 1-1? Again, Hobgoblin recovery. He's got that horrible AG up. No, it's just AG3, but it's got sure hands. That's it. Almost like a super otter, Tycon the Unworth there, isn't he? With Blodge. But then, let's have a look. Moves in. Okay. And what happens here? So he gets... he goes red on the ball, which is bold and also always good to see. And look how far the ball bounces, and then he passes it. Hang on, what happens there? So he dodges out, and then does he pass it into empty space? I guess he does, doesn't he? Oh no.
Wait, is that the Chorfs punting it? Are you saying, or is that the?
No, I think it's the Dark Elves punting it. So he moves to there, and then at the start of his turn, he bolts him, and then the ball, somehow goes out, and then lands up all the way over there on the left-hand side. There, you can see where the ball is. That's a shame it doesn't show the because the ball was there and it ends up here.
That's the replay viewer. It kind of doesn't actually track the ball movement.
No.
So you only know where it is by people picking it up and putting it down and stuff. So that's why sometimes when you're flicking through the replay viewer, you might not
it's
see
not helpful, isn't it?
Where the ball is, because it just flicks out of existence, or it stays where it's supposed to if you skip past where it bounces around. So it's kind of one of the harder bits of the replay viewer thing to program is where the ball is.
But again, the looks like the Centaur failed to pick up, and then he did a few 2+ dodges. A 3+ pickup, which is always nice to see, and then a GFI to score.
I think it's Edge plus. I think it's an Edge up, so I think it's still a 2. I think it's just a load of 2s.
Yeah, a load of 2s. The pickup I think was a 3 saying here, but yeah, and then it's loads
I thought it was
a 2s.
Edge 5.
I think it is Edge 5, yeah. But it's in a tackle zone, the ball, so.
Is it maybe raining? Could it be raining as well?
It could be. I was going to say that would still be a 2. So maybe
right, yeah, of course. But that's quite nice. I mean, that's quite lucky in a way to escape the wizard. And
I think it shows the weather. Does it show the weather in the top right corner of the screen?
Yeah,
the circle.
That's perfect Blood Bowl weather.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't raining.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the thing might not be 100% correct. And then let's have a look at what happened here. So again, it's turn 13, and the Chaucer got 3 turns to score. So the ball ends up fairly central after turn 14, turn 15. It's moved up quite a lot there. So see what happens. Yeah, there's a couple of GFIs to get into range, and then he can't really be stopped from scoring at that point, and that's where he got the other casualty there as well. So so that's it. So yeah, I guess the Chorfs really managed to remove everyone, so they couldn't really prevent the score coming in. And then 16 they scored, I think. Yeah, with 2 GFIs. And scored on the ball, which was nice. Okay, just see if the Dark Elves... No, they didn't have an extra turn. So 2-2, so quite a high-scoring game. But yeah, just like the Dark Elf coach, Ruzi, just ran out of elves in the end, unfortunately. He's not on, unfortunately, as he could have probably told us a bit more about that. But
or he might be watching Eliod instead of us, but yeah.
Probably, yeah. If Eliod's on, then yeah, we're not going to get too many watching. But yes, so... I don't know what. There's not much to say about that. I mean, I guess well done to the Dark Elves for being resilient and doing well there. Perhaps that's how you should play Dark Elves, not like I do. But I don't know. Dreamland, any comments on that at all?
I'd be happy with that result, especially going against the I think I said to you when we were playing the other day that I think the Chorf team is the most TV efficient sort of. There's nothing extra there. It's just built exactly what it needs to be doing. You've got. The ball carrier is it's not special, but it's completely adequate. And then across it is just loads of guard, and then there's a claw palm as well. It sort of ticks all of the boxes and also got a wizard. So I think that, especially given some of the circumstances there with the removals, I think that's a good draw if there is one. I know it's a sort of misnomer in that good draw is. There's not really a lot of good draws in such a short league format sort of thing, but I think as they go, that's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, I think I agree. Again, stat-wise, 56 blocks against 37, 19 armor breaks, that's loads, isn't it? 4 KOs, 4 casualties, 2 deaths, and 1 sent off.
Well, it's about the same amount of blocks that I had against you,
yeah,
and it's about nearly triple the armor breaks.
Absolutely.
So it says how sort of efficient that team is at just getting rid of people.
I hope I don't get that next week. See, Khornight, with your horrible AV7 Norse, you stole all our good dice for not breaking armor.
I mean, maybe. But I've got... Yeah, okay, fine. Yes.
That's it. That's all you have to do. Say yes and agree with me.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, great. So let's get back to the betting. I get the text up. So what was the result from that one?
Only one person bet on the draw, and that was Danton.
Oh, Danton. Danton's bloody third eye.
I don't want to hear about. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, not that other one. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, a draw is, I would have thought, unlikely there, because you expect either the Delphs to be wasted or beat the Chorvs because they're too slow. But yeah, draw, I guess, is a good result. A good draw, as Dreamland said before. Okay, right, where are we? Next one is the last game, another draw. A temporary high versus the Silver Lords of Altmer. Again, was this one played? I guess it was.
It was played. I'm pretty
doesn't
sure.
seem to be many blocks. Oh, maybe I'm reading the wrong thing. Not many armor breaks.
It was definitely played because the MVP got killed for
Brilliant.
a temporary high, so it was definitely a played game.
Yeah, these are the elf off, wasn't it, of the week? Right, let's get this.
Yeah, it was played 2 days ago.
Up.
One of them was a late. I think we had.
There was a holding thing. Was he the reason that we did the predictions twice, right?
Yeah. Because there was a late substitution, wasn't there? I think, or no, there was another team in there that we did.
No, because the Pro Elves with the AV8 dropped out, and I can't remember which one of these High Elf teams replaced them, but it was definitely there was a Pro Elf team who had armor up players and stuff because. It stuck in my head.
The dump off Pro
Exactly,
Elves.
that one, yeah.
So what? Why did they pull out?
They're not playing. Oh.
Well, yeah, one of these high elf teams is
a replacement for them.
For that, but I can't remember which way round it is.
Gimlick was there before.
Gimlick was there before, so it's Galentio who is a replacement. I think I'm just gonna get a bit of shine on the screen. Just gonna make it a bit darker. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to see how those dump off elves got on. I even commented about it.
Maybe it was you commenting on it that made him decide not to play. Just saying,
Well, I was nervous of all the dump. Like as a slow bash team, I thought I was sort of trying to work out. Admittedly, with Nurgle, it's a little bit easier with the stink, but I was concerned about just never being able to track down the ball with it just getting shifted around on different elves all the time. So
yeah, I was really excited for watching their games. I've got to admit, it could be at least fun and interesting and different,
if not good, fun.
Yeah.
If not good, fun. So the one they scored by turn 2, they're 1-0 up, and then let's just scroll through. So the other high elf team are taking it a bit easier and waiting to score a bit later on. You can see the ball now moving up. That's turn 5, turn 6, and then turn 7. And then, he's fairly well caged there. So, both scores were in the first half, which is, I guess, a bit interesting because you'd expect at least someone to score.
Yeah, 1-1 at half time, but in an elf off, I wouldn't have said it would have finished 1-1.
Yeah. Let's have a look, see how it works out. So that's turn 10. That's turn 10. Where's the ball now? Okay, it's on the right-hand flank. Turn 11, it's still there. They're moving up. Turn 12, it's still there. He does get a dice on the ball. That's where the ball comes loose in turn 12 there. 13. I mean, if we have a fumbling of failed pickups on 2 pluses, I mean, that's always hilarious. But it looks like the ball's fairly well covered there. And it just looks like the ball stays in that little cage. And then in turn 14 here, I think there is the failed pickup, which is a 3+. Why is that a 3? Oh, yeah, it's in a tackle zone, so that's a 3+, which is failed, and it goes to there. And then the ball comes in, and it just looks like it's caged, and then it goes into the middle again. But everyone's committed on that right-hand side, or the bottom side, as you're looking at it. And you just can't get into it.
Looks like no one keeps hold of the ball.
Yeah, no one keeps hold of the ball. There's another sack there, which is fine. That's a pickup which is made. Again, he runs clear, runs that guy into the clear to score his next turn. But I'm guessing, again, he's sacked. Yeah, he's sacked at this point here on a 2+. He picks it up, but yeah, can't do anything with it. So that's how it kind of ends, really. And then turn 16, yeah, just a push and no rerolls left. So that's how it ended. So yeah, so some crazy elf stuff, like a big scrum really happened down this bottom half here, where no one could really get hold of the ball. Yeah, it's interesting in a way, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that, as they're 1-1. Elves couldn't pick up the ball and do elf things, so yeah, that's the result for that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said 1-1, especially with the score on turn 2. I thought,
yeah, absolutely,
you're much more likely to see a 4-4 than a 1-1 in that situation.
Yeah, I wonder why they just didn't go for the elf ball then. I mean, I guess it's not.
Well, if I was, I think it was
worth
Gimlet
doing,
that
is it? Yeah,
responded, I would have just scored 8 and 16. I might have even considered just running away on the second half and just sort of flipping the ball around a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't just score 8 and 16. And obviously, it didn't work out like that. But I don't think I would have done the same plan-wise, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting in a way, isn't it? But okay, well, one coach is up for elf ball and the other one just sort of shuts him down, I guess. All right, Khornight, betting. If you're able to, are you
Yeah,
able to speak?
I am able to. Yeah. The only one person predicted a draw.
Oh God.
It was me.
Oh God. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, it was me predicting a draw between a different team and Gimlick, but you know, it was still right.
Oh, does that count?
I'll take that point.
That should be a
Yes,
that should be a null one,
100%.
surely. Okay, well, me and Danton diddled you out of a point last week when you weren't around, so I suppose I can let that stand.
Oh, did you now? Oh,
Yeah.
did you? All right, fine.
Well, you mean you haven't watched the stream?
I did, but I fell asleep.
Cheers. Okay, right. Well, let's move on to this week. And predictions. So Dreamland, Europe first. So I guess let's have a look at some of the teams that are playing. So let's have a look first at the Goth Gougers, because they've got a level up to pick as well, and that might influence what level up you have. So they didn't play last week, so they've got a full, more or less a full squad. Obviously not changed from before, but they have got a level on this movement up lineman. So on a normal, what would you go for there? I mean, tackle, I think. On a non-normal, I guess you go, well, obviously guard, I guess. I don't think that's too complicated. Anything else you'd pick, Dreamland, for that one? For the Orc?
It's difficult. Personally, now you've got that lino there, you've already got three tackle mighty blow blitzers. I don't think that he's ever. I would be more inclined to get rid of the thrower, mostly because I hate Mr. Throw. I would just get rid of the thrower and turn that lino into the ball carrier now.
Give him sure hands?
I'd give him sure hands and look at cutting Mr. Throw. Maybe not for this game if you wanted the numbers or something like that, but I'd maybe start developing a ball carrier and then let Mr. Throw just go and live on the faraway farm when it's time.
I mean, it's worth pointing out he is built as stupidly, in my opinion, as well. Built as a thrower with accurate and sure hands. We talked about this before, didn't we, when we looked at the team?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I just don't have Mr. Throw ever. In fact, my current CCL team is anything but Mr. Throw, and it's a Goblin ball carrier. I just won't use. I just think he's terrible in every way.
I'm with you completely on that one. I don't like them.
I'm not as anti him, and but just this skill choice of taking accurate as a second skill is not my idea of what you should be doing with him.
Although if you're going to do it, I would then go all in and just strong arm all of that. If you're going to build a thrower. Like at that point, then you can start throwing long passes on twos and stuff. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but if you're going to have fun, at least I'd go straight strong arm next or something like that.
Yeah,
but if it's for winning games, I get rid of him at the earliest convenience.
If you're going to go all in, go all in. But then I think kick-off return's still better than accurate.
Oh yeah. But now you've got the extra. Like the only reason to have the thrower is to free up a blitzer to not be the ball carrier. But now you've got the movement 6 lino where you can get kickoff return, sure hands, useful skills just on normals for it to be a ball carrier. Still, I would just transition that player into that. So I'd probably go sure hands here.
Yeah, also linemen don't have that many options because they don't have strength access. So, it's going to be more tackle, which probably isn't very useful and doesn't synergize with their other choices very well, or sure hands, and you might as well just get sure hands or kick-off return or both.
Also, if you're just thinking short term as well, just even if it's just for winning the next game, the fourth, I have 1 dodge piece that's going to be in a cage at all times.
Yeah.
So the 4th tackle doesn't help you win the short-term game either, particularly. So I would look more long-term and build towards a ball carrier.
Yeah, maybe you'll go kick.
Could go kick.
Could go kick. Okay.
I wouldn't after going for the move up, but it just becomes a super bloaty.
Or maybe it's double. Maybe it's double.
Or maybe it's double.
Or maybe, I mean, if it's a double, it's no choice. It's guard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be because orcs get well muscled out. The higher they go. So you, Dreamland, have got 2 levels up. So you've got a Nurgle Warrior who's just got blocked so far, and then the Pest who's the killer, which I'm glad I'm not facing anymore, and hopefully never will again. He's got level up as well. So I imagine, and Khornight, you can guess on this one as well before Dreamland gives it the game away. On the Nurgle Warrior, you're going to go guard, and the Pest, I think we might have discussed it in the game actually, but I think he's probably getting claw, isn't he? Khornight, any difference from that? What would you go for?
I mean, they're both good choices. There's not, the guard on the warrior. You could some coaches take 2 guard and then build the last 2 more killy, so they kind of catch up the SPP. So I wouldn't be against the idea of Mighty Blow instead of guard on the 3rd warrior. And claw is the obvious choice. What this team is kind of missing at the moment is claw Mighty Blow. Although because of the strength and the horns, I wouldn't mind some other more interesting choices like Frenzy or Frenzy with the strength.
Yeah, it's going to help, isn't it?
And
adds a dimension of play.
Yeah, a different type of player.
But Dreamland, it's not up to us; it's up to you. So what?
No, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works on the Nurgle Warrior straight away because it's a double on the Nurgle Warrior. So I'm not so much in the building early killers on Nurgle Warriors. I think using them to hold down space and sort of keep them in a position to use the stink and stuff like that, and sort of lock down areas of the pitch rather than being the hitters. I would go guard if it was just a normal here. On the 4th one, because it's so far behind, I might be more inclined to sort of go that route. But I think the other 3, I think block guard's just too strong a combo. Because it's double, I'm still thinking about whether to go dodge and sort of think long term on it, and then still go guard, but just blodge guard, stand firm, and sort of
be really annoying. Yeah.
I mean, that's horrendous, isn't it? Blodge guard, stand firm is awful to play against.
Yeah. So it's just whether to sort of take that now and sort of deal with him being less useful short term, or whether to sort of just go, just sort of think what term to think about. Dodge is the better long term pick, I think, in terms of once he then gets guard at 31. But it could be, I don't know, a season and a half to get that last 11 SCP. So
yeah, it could be.
So that one's a little bit more undecided. The Pestigore, thought about going something like Frenzy just because it puts that in position, but I think we haven't got the sort of stuff to protect it on the sidelines as much, and I think it would just put him in danger. And without Claw at this stage, and I won't have Claw on the next sort of piece that I was going to build as a killer is Radon, which is on 6. So that's 25 SPP away from being Claw Mighty. I think it's just adding that now. I think if the second block Pestigore was already at Mighty Blow and heading towards 31, it might be more of a decision. But I think just adding Claw just helps so much
for
at this stage.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against. And yeah, I mean, again, it's going to come in useful against the Orcs and the Chorfs when you do face them eventually. So,
well, that was part of the decision as well. Is that added a bit of complexity is because the division is, I think it's 5 or 6 out of the 10 elves. Whether because I have no tackle, whether to go tackle and have the tackle mighty to sort of help with those matchups. But I think just long term, Claw just helps with what the team is good at.
I mean, all the elves are AV8 elves anyway, right? So they'd all
Yeah, we haven't even got the 7s anymore now. There's no woodies and the Pro-Ls are out, so
Yeah.
it still has uses. And because he's blitzing on a 5, there's opportunities to still get 3 dice and just roll pals. So, yeah, that one will definitely be claw, and I'm still deciding on whether to go dodge on the warrior.
Okay. So betting wise, Khornight, do you want to go first?
No, can you go first? Go on.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to go for the gassy gang. I think on this one. Oh, is there any inducements actually? So 1840.
Oh, that's exactly what I was checking.
1840. So you're going to
I've got a
one
bit of
double.
cash.
Double. Yeah, let's have a look at your team first of all. So you've got.
I'm 1800 actually. Once I burn the cash.
Yeah, and
then but then you've got 2 levels and he's got 1 level.
Oh yes, we'll be 1840 as well. Yeah, we'll still be 1840 once I burn the cash and take the levels.
Yeah.
Assuming you take the double.
Assuming
you don't. Yeah.
If I take the double.
So there's only 10. There's only going to be 10k in it. I don't think he's got. No, he hasn't got a bank, but he has got level to take, so that'll put him up to 1860.
Yeah.
So yeah, there'd be nothing in it. Well, 10k. So
might scum.
I mean,
the underdog.
To be honest, you could not get rid of your cash, take the levels, and then just you're not going to give him enough to get anything apart from a babe, and then you could get a wizard or something potentially.
There's options there. Even if in a cut down, I don't and then have anything, I can still buy off 150. I can cut down and then still have the option if I want to. But
is it your place? You don't have you got anything for the stadium?
Yeah, I've got the Riot Stadium.
Oh, the right one. Yeah, fair enough.
Security gate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I still think based on that though, Dreamland Gaming, you're going to win this one, mate. So there we go.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'll go for a draw. I think a draw is a plausible outcome for this one, and largely just voting differently from Ethel.
And Dreamland, what do you think?
I am very concerned about getting hit with a lot of Mighty Blow with a lot of Armor 8, especially since I do run 4 Pestigals on the pitch, so it is 6 Armor 8 on the pitch at any time. So I think I would say draw, just because I think it actually come down to whoever just out removes early on. I think if there's someone playing down drives with sort of 7-8 players, I think it'll be quite swingy. So I'll say draw. I'd say it would be 1-1 and we both score on our drives, but it could easily be different just based on removals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you on Discord, if you go to 3C predictions, you can see the chart there. So if you want to click on the middle button, which we use for draws, then that'd be great. Or you don't have to. But yeah, we can record your results for next week then, because Khornight and I won't remember otherwise. We've got we've just done it. Brilliant. We've got to say the bot favours you as well. 1.89 versus 212. But I guess that's just Nurgle versus Orcs, right? So
I don't think so. I think the games are usually biased towards lower TV, and a lower TV Orcs are a better team
should beat Nurgle, shouldn't they?
It might, but the bot is also based on actual results, and it might be that more people play Nurgle who are beginners, which there's a lot of they regularly have a lot more games and a lower win rate than you'd expect from Orcs, and I think people do suggest playing Orcs as one of your first times. Yeah.
I think we're right at the point as well in TV matching where it starts to swing towards Nurgle in terms of I think we're right at that TV value where it starts to. I think that one claw can make a big difference.
Yeah, I think that claw mighty blow now that you've got is going to start to make a difference. I think absolutely, because it's more. We talk a lot on this about you can't rely on the removals, but just having that claw mighty blow makes removals a lot more likely, and that's obviously going to make things a lot easier.
It's not about relying on it, but if you could, it's not about having a pitch clear. But against Orcs, if you can have them down to 9 even if it's just KOs as well, just down to it just frees up so much more space.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He's got a troll as well, so that's 5 movement 4 pieces at all times. So, yeah, I still think a draw because I think it's just about. I think it will come down to a lot on how many players are playing each drive. I like the fact that I've got 14 for this one particularly. I think it's a lot of bloat in some of the elf games, but for this game particularly, I think it makes a big
numbers
difference.
are going to come in useful, aren't they?
And it's worth saying as well, the Orcs are quite strong, and they outguard you, right? Or they may have the same amount of guard, but
no, I think I've I've got 3, I think.
No,
I
you
think
got 4.
just...
I know. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, okay.
You got one on
oh,
roster
sorry.
as well.
Oh no, no. I thought. You got 4 at the moment. Yeah, you got 1 Rotter, the Beast, and 2 of the Warriors.
Yeah, I
That's
forgot
4.
about the Rotter having it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's hard to go into a matchup when you're even strength. I think with I think they have the strength up and the troll. So I think it's sort of even on that front. They might be marginally ahead.
Yeah, they've got 2
and
strength ups. So yeah.
But there's a lot of hitting power there. So it's just about sort of preservation and making sure that I'm in the right position. So I've just seen it on the stream now where it's 7 strength 4s and the strength 5.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're significantly out strength there. But yeah, it should be a fun one. It's sort of an interesting matchup as well, just having that much strength across the team.
Yeah,
I don't know the coach at all either, so that sort of lends me to go more to a draw because you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, I'm guessing, is new to me as well. I've never heard of them, or don't think seen them play. Khornight,
I didn't come across them in lowers either. So
you play in multiple leagues. You seen this guy before?
No, but there is a thing of you can get some really good. I'm guessing this is a Spanish player, or there are loads of leagues that I'm not anything to do with because they're in French or Spanish or whatever.
They're not English predominantly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, that's all. That's the first game. The next one is Goblins versus Hit Me Baby One More Time, and this is High Elves versus the Undead from last week. So, quick look at Broccoli's team. He obviously didn't play, but he has got a level up. He's again the 2 running, or they, I should say, are the 2 runners kind of guy. So. Yeah, what do you get this second useless runner here at this point?
Thrower, not runner, not Dark Elves. Leader, I guess he exists to be a leader carrier partly, right? He's going to be a defensive thrower. So, do you go straight leader first, or do you get block and dodge first and then give him leader? Something like that.
He doesn't need to ever throw the ball. I can only imagine if you've got that thrower with the other thrower, the Edge 5 sure hands one. It can only be to be a leader caddy and to drop.
Yeah.
Either drop the reroll or run at 4 rerolls,
or just as a backup. So when the other one dies, there's already something there, some skills.
But if it's just as a backup, I would just go dodge, just because having dodge on elves is never not useful.
That's true.
And if it's I'd either do dodge or leader depending on what its role on the team is meant to be.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with any of that. I mean, like you say, built as a leader carrier, you'd think. But then the only problem with that is you tempted to put him on the pitch for offense as well, where he adds less apart from the reroll.
Well, on offense, he adds extra vanity passing, so you have the 2 throwers in the backfield passing to each other, with one of the bits of the pass being rerollable because of pass. And you just you could do that for turns when you're trying to stall or dropping back and stuff.
Okay, and his opponent is the Undead of Sea Pivot, who's going to, I think, just check Broccoli's bank. Yeah, it's just 80. So 90 Sea Pivot will get. In fact, he'll get 100, 110. In fact, if he gets rid of his 20 that he's got in the bank, he doesn't need to buy any players. So yeah, he just needs to get rid of that 20. Get enough for a bribe certainly. His team no levels from last week, I don't think. Again, the ghouls are pretty good, and we discussed this before, didn't we? So it's kind of where it needs to be. I mean, a double on either mummy would be nice. A double on both mummies would be great. One mummy's just 1 SPP off his next roll, and I mean, it's hard to get rid of a guard player, but you'd perhaps consider recycling if he didn't get a double his next one, because he's just going to be a copycat of the other one, really, isn't he?
I'm not sure this is the game to recycle one of them.
No, not before this one, but after he levels, you'd maybe think about it.
I'd be considering recycling the grab one anyway. I think he's getting to the point where he's got another 20 SPP before there's another level, and he's not that exciting.
No.
And I think it's a lot of SPP for something that doesn't move very fast, and all you're really getting out of it is it's a very good roadblock, but a roadblock, that's not very, doesn't move very much.
It's also a roadblock in a division with a bunch of people that can just run away from it.
Yeah.
I think this is, if you're going to ever cycle, either you don't ever cycle them, but if you're going to cycle them, it's sort of
This
the
is a
sooner you
season
can
to
make
do
it
it,
work.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that just their base skills offer pretty much the same value in a lot of the matchups. Just being Strength 5 Mighty Blow offers pretty much the same. Like, I'm saying this hoping that they do it because I'm the one matchup in which it's really beneficial to have all these things. So
Yeah.
it's entirely self-serving, but I do think that this is the opportunity to sort of cycle at least one of them through.
See that graph?
You and the Orcs, I'd say, but
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah, it's completely self-serving, but I think just in general, it's dropping that 60. What's their base cost? 100. 120. It's dropping a significant amount of TV, at least 100 across both of them in skills, and they don't really lose much in the time, and it gives them a much easier chance to roll block again, which will make them much more useful going forward.
And
I definitely only choose to fire one of them at a time.
Yeah,
having one stand firm guard is awesome. Having two of them with 100 TV worth of standing firm is not as good. It's worth mentioning they play you in week 5 and the Orcs in week 7. So I guess if you're thinking about it, you should do it earlier in the season rather than later. Maybe the fact they haven't done it by now suggests they're not going to.
He's not going to.
Yeah, I mean, ignoring the fact that I would obviously prefer them not to have those skills for just that matchup, I do think it's, if you're going to do it, at least if you do it by week 3, you've got 6 games to get them back up to 6, just as a starting point, and have the opportunity. And then if you can get them back up to 6 by the end of the season, you're really only losing the stand firm going forward, because assuming you just put guard back on them, and you're sort of a lot of the time in the same position straight away. Like, I don't hate keeping them either, because they do what they do well, but if you're going to cycle them, I'd do it as early as possible. Just if you're thinking long term. If you're thinking about just winning games this season, then I would definitely not do that. But
yeah, it's a difficult game to call as well. Like I'd say, the undead are going to get a bribe, and the elves have 11 players. I guess I'm favouring the undead.
I think I'm favouring the undead because they've got more removal chance, and that's what they need to do against the elves. Really, there's plenty of tackle and mighty blow there, and I think one of the whites piling on as well, isn't he?
I think this undead team is set up as a really good counter to the high elf team. I don't think I think just on the team page, especially since they're getting a bribe as well, I think it could be quite they've got the pom tackle, they've got sort of 2 ball sackers as well, and then the dirty player. I don't think the elves have got a lot of I played high elves in Rebel for 4 seasons, and you don't get a lot for your money at sort of this team. You've got a lot of dodge, but if you're facing a lot of tackle in the sort of return, then you lose quite a lot of your value there. And especially since he's got sort of a few of the crosses across the team. I can't remember exactly what they are, but across the team there's a few of the different crosses.
Yeah, there's a capture armor 6 and a movement busted lineman, and then one of the blitzers who's just blodge step has got a niggle, which is not what you want against all this mighty blow.
He does have 12 players, though. I misread that, so maybe a bit better having 12.
Not having any bench in the you don't go the whole. I don't think you even go the first half without taking at least some damage, just facing a tackle pommer with elves. But yeah, obviously elves can do elf things. They've got Edge 5, they've got movement 9, I think, on one of the catches as well. So there's always elf stuff you can do. I don't think it's completely lopsided, but I think getting a bribe as well as the undead, I think if you've got 7 elves to start the second half, you've got a chance, but you could easily not have 7 elves to start the second half.
Yeah. So what do you think, Dreamland?
I think the undead.
Okay. Khornight, you think the undead as well. So I think the undead, but I'll maybe go for a draw. So there might be some elf stuff that he can pull off just to.
I do have to say that
even.
Broccoli is the one loss on my Nurgle team record. So I definitely think they're a very good coach.
Maybe I'll change. Yeah.
I just think the team difference here is a big. I just think the undead at this value has got so much more going for it. But yeah, having been the only team to beat my team, I sort of should really back them to go on and win. But
no, it's fair. I mean, on paper, I think the undead team, especially with a bribe as well, with extra removal potential, should beat the high elves. But again, it's not on paper; it's what actually happens, isn't it? But we'll see. All right, next game is mine. Oh God, I'm looking forward to this one. We're playing, I think, on tomorrow. On tomorrow, we're playing tomorrow about midday, I think, COVID permitting. So, quick look at my team. I don't think I'm missing too many people, although I think I've got at least one MNG. In fact, I've got two MNG, so 2 linos are out. Apart from that, not too bad. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll get I've got another player to add to this, or I could buy a lineman actually. I might just buy a lineman. I don't know. So I'm 1610. I'm versus the. How can they be below me? They're 1590 Chorf team. So
you're actually 1680 because of your loner, right?
Yeah.
And they are actually 1560 because they have
Jesus
a bank.
Christ! So they're going to have a bribe as well.
Oh yeah, possibly more.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe a whiz. Without a dirty player, I'd probably prefer the
oh my God! What am I going to do?
Without a dirty player, maybe they could get a.
This is the
loner, a Merc dirty player.
This is the problem having a superstar in the team. Unfortunately, what shall I do? Shall I buy what would you do? Would you buy a lineman or would you take the loner for the next game?
We've only got 10 players, so buying a lineman does literally nothing to your game, right? You could buy 2 linemen. You have enough money. You could buy 2 linemen, and then you have a bench.
I might do.
But I wouldn't buy 1 lineman because maybe the loner gets killed and saves you from.
That's what I was about to say. Is that I wouldn't buy any lineman and just let the loner get punched on the LOS instead of something you paid 70k for.
That's true. Anyway, so that's my team. This is his team. Betting is really how soon am I going to be off the pitch? I mean, okay. So let's look at let's be realistic about these things. So he's got a claw pommer, which is obviously horrendous, and 1 mighty blow, and a bit of tackle. But I mean, those 2 are the worst ones, aren't they? Really, and they're only movement 4. So as long as I can stay alert and not leave people based, then I should be. Oh, I'm fucked, aren't
I? I do think that I think having a bench is worth it. I would buy 2 more players, 2 more linemen, because you can afford 2 linemen, and I think though that having that extra bench will help protect your better players because it'll take you longer to be down players to the point where you have to let them get punches on your good players.
I have to think about it.
Imho. Obviously,
it depends on what your game plan is for the. Like, I personally would spend my entire half running away and not letting anyone get hit as much. Like, I would fully just
retreat,
hide in the back line and try and score on 8 and just try and not get anyone hit and then hope to force a 1-0 would be my sort of aim. Like, that would be my aim, is to try and score on my half and stay alive and take the ball. But if you're going to sort of go diving in and try and turn them over, then I think what Khornight's saying is right in taking the extra bench, because you will take hits and there's no way that you don't get removed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's actually. Okay, so he's got a claw pommer, but he's only got 1 other mighty blow other than that. So that claw pommer is the only real.
He's the only threat, isn't he? Really. And if he does palm, then he's only got movement 2, which isn't enough, and he won't blitz from prone. I'm guessing, unless there's a juicy target. So.
I mean, if you stand people near him, but it should be easy enough as elves to move away from him, more than 3 squares away from the down blocker, right?
Yeah, and even if I think with that player, I think even if it's GFIs, he's hitting every turn that he's able to reach an elf. I don't think it matters what the target. I think it's up to you to sort of not allow the best target sort of thing. But if it was me, I'm just hitting with that every turn that I can hit a target, and especially since even if you take the bench, you're only going to have 12. I would just be going on straight away, just like, right, if I can get 2 or 3 off early.
Yeah, it's a concern, definitely. I mean, I might even consider not kicking.
I mean, there's also the possibility, having an extra player also means you get to foul him with a bit more.
Well, that's me sold. So yeah. All right. Well, oh god. Well, I'm going to bet on myself to win, obviously this one, but it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a horrible game. I'd be have my head over my eyes. I think most of that one. But
Your
what
head
do
over
you?
your eyes.
My hands over my eyes for
There
that
you
one. Watching the blocks come in. But anyway, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm going for you, definitely. No, I'm not. Crow Dog.
And Dreamland, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I'd be inclined to bet on this team against mine. I think it's just such good. I think I said this before. I think it's just such good value at this point. Like, it's got guard on all of the blockers. It's got a claw pommer. It's got a strength 5 ball. It's just got so much going for it for the value it's at. And I just think
I think the Blodge Sure Hands Hobgoblin is worth mentioning as well. I think it's basically just got everything it needs and nothing more, and that's quite powerful.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's like, obviously with Chorfs there's always stuff you can add on later, and I think it will just become scarier as it goes along. I'd love if you couldn't get super removed, because I haven't got this team until late in the season, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. So anything that sort of slows it down,
I'll do my best.
It's great.
So was that don't die too badly because I don't want them to get too much SPP before meeting me? Was that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. It's complete. Everything I say comes with some sort of self-serving agenda attached to it.
I mean, I have got a Mighty Blow Bitzer, so I could get some removals myself.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely target the Hobgoblins.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna. If I can hit a Hobgoblin at any turn, then yeah, I'm going for it. Absolutely.
Oh, and that's sort of obviously the weakness with this team, especially like there isn't a lot of bench built. Like we said about it being, it's really TV efficient, it's really trim, and it's got exactly what it needs. But it also is only 12 players.
Yeah.
And you've got to tackle Mighty Blow. There's still opportunities to take out those numbers. Obviously, hitting the Chorfs and the Bulls a little bit less. But if you can get through some of the Hobbos, you can get them down in players and just give yourself space. I think there's definitely something that can be done there.
Yeah, Dwarves don't like playing with down players at all.
No, they hate it, don't they? So
especially against elves.
Yeah.
And it is the weak. That is the the AV7 players are the chink in this armor, isn't it? And that is partly also why I would seriously consider of them getting a Dirty Player Merc as the inducement, because it's
an extra player as well as a fouler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, enough of talk of fouling my team off the pitch. Let's look at the next game, which is the Port Alley Riders Altdorf Academical versus Temporary High. So yeah, he's had a real bad day at the office last week. So his team is currently looking at this. So it's down to 1,400. He's missing 3 for his next game, and those 3 are fairly important. So it's his. Was that just? It was just making sure they're just MNGs, not niggles. Yeah, that's a MNG. That's fine. But that's his guard, Mighty Blow, tackle, Blitzer. The movement 9 catcher is off, so that's his one turner who's gone. Again, that's just a MNG, and then the other one is it's fine. It's just a normal a lineman who's off as well. So coming into that, then I mean the most egregious. Well, there's 2 bad losses, isn't there? There's the Blitzer and the catcher, because they're both pretty much stars of the team there, and he's playing a Temporary High who are.
Can we take a moment to enjoy the name of a Temporary High? Clearly, they are a temporary team brought into this division and maybe other divisions in the past to fill holes. I think that's a great name for them.
It is a great name, and the players are also appropriately named as well. Second puberty, though, what's that? That doesn't sound nice. Is that you? Is that you? Is that on the horizon? I'm 45. Is that going to happen soon? I hope not.
Did you get extra hairy?
Oh God, I'm already that.
No, that's why I thought about
it. Yeah. So again, he's missing just 2 linemen, but there's 14-20. There's not much there. I mean, Ali must be a bit pissed off that the week he's down, he's playing elves who are more or less the same as him. In fact, there'll be, how much is it? 70, aren't they? So there'll be 1490. Yes.
Yeah. So
all they get is a babe, though.
Yeah.
Oh well, 90k above Ali. So Ali could get a bribe.
He's got no bank.
Oh, is he on 0?
Yeah, there's no bank on the elves, so.
Oh, no. Ali's the one with the inducement.
Oh, Ali's down. Sorry.
Yeah. He's got 70.
So he could get a bribe. Yeah.
So you could get a bribe. I'd definitely get a bribe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
No,
9,
dirty
10,
player
11. No dirty player, but yeah, you should go for Bribin. Again, on paper, I think he's got enough to beat this elf team, really. He's got this lovely AG4 Mighty Blow, tackle, strip ball, blitzer. The thrower is although, debatable usage, normally he's strength 4, kick-off return as well, so that'll help against the elf swarm in the backfield. And then he's got a dauntless catcher as well. So that's pretty good, really. Against this high elf team, which won annoyingly on the second page, and we haven't really done a critique of this elf team, but they've got Blackall, 2 Blackall blitzers with dodge as well, Blodgekull. I don't know if that's a thing. Again, 2 throwers. Again, without leader though. One's built as a thrower, one's just blodge, and 1 Mighty Blow catcher, which is nice, and a wrestle catcher. And a guard lineman, I guess, is the other thing. And of course, rounding off the team, a kicker. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about this team, would you? If I was Ali? I mean, it's elves, but even so.
I mean, humans tend to be a good anti-elf team because they're just as fast, very similarly armoured, but just cheaper. So usually you'd expect to get more out of them in terms of, things to work with. The teams, I'd say, look kind of similar. They match up pretty closely. I don't think either team looks particularly like it's made to beat the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This game called Dreamland. Give us your opinion. I'll just see what my wife wants.
That's all right. So I think that the humans have a lot of the tools here to sort of counter it, and I don't think the elves have got to a point to sort of undo that yet. Like, I agree, I think they're very close, but I think what you said is right in terms of the value. I think you've got, at that sort of similar TV range, I think you get a little bit more on the humans for sort of trading off the agility point. But obviously it's playing elves, so they can just roll some 2s and it'll all be all right, where the humans don't have that option. But
yeah. I mean,
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Humans still just have to roll 3s, right? It's not even that bad, and they kind of have more skills and a lot more strength and a bit more guard. Actually, no, they have the same amount of guard, but the human guard is on blodge a bit better than the elf guard.
Yeah, and I do think as well that the hells, there's value on there's a lot of TV on throwers. Like, there's 2 throwers that are both skilled. Like, I'd rather have 2 unskilled linos and those 3 skills on sidestep on the blitzers, or blodge on one of the catchers, or something. Like, it's just on where the skills are distributed. It's not just the value; it's the fact that even though it's a blodge thrower, it's just a lot of value on a thrower. Like, I'm not a big fan of the health thrower anyway,
and especially 2 of them.
Especially 2 of them, and then with one with accurate as well. I think when you're this low TV, though, those small difference in terms of if they're both linos, that saves 20k, and you move those skills around. Like, I think if you see this team with 2 extra unskilled linos and those 3 skills distributed elsewhere, I'd be much more inclined to go with the hells here. But I think it's not just the TV difference. I think that Ali's team, the TV's centered in better places.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and the strength throw on the humans is going to be hard for the elves to sack, whereas the elves are going to be easier for the humans to sack, even with strength 2 catcher who's got wrestle dauntless. That's still quite a good sacking opportunity, and they're both pretty easy, pretty equal at the bash side, but just weirdly the ball sacking side is going to be better for the humans,
which is not normally the case. In general, normally you think of elves being able to just dodge in and create that sort of situation, but
and you'd expect the humans to be beating them up rather than sacking them.
Yeah.
But
what do you think?
I think I'd go humans here. I just think that where the skills are on the elves of this, and I hate this matchup when I play elves in general, because you don't have against sort of traditional bash, you just run away, and with elves in sort of elf matchups, you generally have better, you're generally the most armored elves. So I don't like the human matchup at all. You like a normal bash matchup, but everyone's got move up compared to playing orcs or something like that. So I would go humans here.
Okay, Khornight.
Yeah, no, I agree. After maybe partly because we talked it through. I think they're both pretty close, but yeah, I think the human team. I wonder if it's the difference between. This playoff team's been built, hasn't it? The fact that
Yeah.
everyone is on 6 SPP or 16 SPP is that he's been told, hey, you can build a 1500 team and put them into tier 3, but they can't have any stats, and you can have 2 doubles, and so he's built a mighty blow and he's built a guard. And whereas Ali's got some stats and he's got some players who have leveled over time and taken things that there's more synergy going on because he's able to have more stacking, and he's worked through his players a bit more. So yeah, I think that's going to be the difference.
And just to add to that quickly, was you sort of said before about it being the bad week for Ali to be down, but I like this a lot more not having to face, say, if he still was 1800, not having Eldril Wizard or some combination like that can create chaos. This is sort of very straightforward. I know he's lost some sort of key like I love the Blodge Guard, move 9 catcher and stuff like that, but I think being down in this situation and not giving up a wizard or not giving up Eldril to sort of create those ball sacking opportunities, I think that makes it a lot more secure.
Okay, well, I voted for Ali as well. But yeah, so that's all of us on Ali this time. I guess Danton will come in at some point and vote too. But yeah, okay, cool. And then the final game of the week is the Pale Penguins versus the Silver Lords of Altmer. So this is the this week's Elf Off. So who's at home? So the Pale Penguins are first up. So this is a Dark Elf team. Just down to 10 players now because he lost 2 in the last game. But he has got bank, so he could get some linemen for this one. Again, he's got some really good players. Again, a movement 8 AG5 blitzer, and his witch elf as well is also AG5. Although she's AV6, but she's got the skills to avoid being hit most of the time. And as we probably discussed in the past, he probably looks after his witch elves a bit better than me, so probably doesn't throw her into the mix too much. And then he is facing the Silver Lords of Altmer, which is Gimlick's high elf team. Again, they're just 1 player down, which was a Rog Lino. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, they are actually 16. Well, be 16-10 once he burns that bank as well. So TV difference wise,
Gimlick gets 50k or 60k once the bank
50 or
goes.
60. Unless even. Yeah, I mean, again, if I was Ruzi, I probably would buy players for this game, buy some replacement linemen. But
I mean, like both. Rusi probably if he wants to win this game against 2 mighty blow, one of them is Pom. That's kind of a bit of a scary proposition. Yeah. Whereas Rishi does have Frenzy Mighty Blow, which Frenzy has a massive effect on actually, getting the knockdown, which obviously has a knock-on effect in terms of injuries. So both of them actually do have a kind of a fairly good removal chance if they want to go for the removal game, and both of them can afford to get an extra player. And it definitely stabilises the team. And like in this division, kind of would like to be on 12 players at least, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think probably Ruzi will buy some players.
But then Gimlick could buy more players too, right? Gimlick is a catcher short, so he might even consider buying a catcher. But I'd go for lineman personally.
Yeah, what do you think, Dreamland? Not on the call. No, there he is.
I wonder whether it would just be like this unsaid agreement just to not spend if you like you said, they can both sort of just escalate it and then end up in the exact same position but with no bank anymore. Sort of so I don't know whether there'll be this sort of standoff where no one buys anything before the game and they just sit there and they sort of mirror each other or whatever. I can see a whole world where no one does anything.
Or the alternative is one of them says, "Oh, by the way, I've just bought a player," and the other one goes, "All right, give me a second, I'm going to buy my 5 players."
And I think it will probably mirror like that. I think if it stays like this, there's also the potential to go. If it's about winning now, to scum the wizard as the high elves, to sort of maximise your win chance. If it but I do think you're right in terms of it could be an opportunity to both just build up your team again a little bit, and but I think it will mirror on both sides. I don't think that if Rusi buys 2 bench and goes that high that Gimlick will then just sit. I think it'll probably
I think he'll
line
buy
up.
as well,
I think there'll be some movement on both sides, or they'll both stay the same.
I mean, it's worth saying that it's tier 3, so maybe this isn't the point where you are going all out just to win.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I guess you're still at the building phase, aren't you? Really, in a way.
Yeah. Both teams did get a draw though, so in their first game, so maybe they need to win a bit more to ensure that they're actually going to go up. I don't know.
Well,
I think it's quite early to worry about that, especially since I think only 3 teams won. I think it was quite I think there's only 3 teams that have a win after the first week.
We should look.
So I don't think that will factor in, but I think it will be more about I just don't think they'll give away inducements or something like that. I think it'll be mirrored on both sides, whatever's happening. And they're both quite experienced players as well, as I understand it. So
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So I think it will just be either there'll be sort of like unspoken, like I'm gonna one goes and then the other one goes and keeps everything sort of as is.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you now. I've gone for Rusi's for Dark Elf Solidarity, so that's who I've bet on. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna go High Elves. I think that the team's just sort of a little bit more together at this stage. I think it's really close. I'm sort of umming and ahhing about draw there, but I don't ever like picking elf draws just because it's so volatile in terms of if it becomes like a shootout, it could easily be 4-3 or something like that. So I never like going, but I am a big high elf fan. They're sort of my favourite elves, so I'm going to stick with that. And that's just a pure reason that I'm just going to go, I like those elves. So
okay, cool.
I'm considering a draw because I just don't want to pick the same thing as Ethelred, which is that I think I would go for Rusi in this. I'll go for a draw. It's close. It could go either way. It could even go to the point where neither of them win.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a Pyrrhic draw in a sense, where it's just like both teams lose 3 players and it ends in a draw, and no one really gets anything out of it.
That'd be a great result for me, Broccoli and Ali. If it was a Pyrrhic draw, that'd be most suitable. But yeah, I've just got the last thing we'll look at is just a table. We should have probably done this after the first round of games. But as you said, Dreamland, there's 3 who won, 4 who drew, and then 3 who lost, obviously. So yeah, so still everything to play for, although obviously it's really early days at the moment. We don't really start to look at it properly until about game 3 or 4, to be honest. But yeah, there's no
even then, I haven't even I don't really take the table into account until about sort of 6, when you can work out either I can get into the top few or I'm in danger of getting in the bottom few. But I don't think before that it's really ever, because it's such a short season that even 5 games in, you're only halfway through, and if you win the last 4, you'll probably end up near the top, even if you've
absolutely
not won it. Even if you only got a couple of draws or something like that, you win the last 4 and you'll still end up towards the right half. So it's what I quite like about OCC is that it is very
most of the
volatile
games
in that sense.
Most of the games count, don't they?
Rather than having to play out a season where sort of 7 games from the end that I'm not getting any. I'm not making a playoff, or I'm not promotion or anything. You're sort of playing out just to keep your team alive, which is never.
That is the problem with much bigger leagues than the OCC. I think how many is in UK BBL, Khornight? Is it 14, 15 in a 16? Well, so good.
No, so actually it's 12. So I think it's 12. So it's 10 in OCC, 12 in UK BBL, and 14 in Rebel.
Yeah, 14. That's it.
But they all have their pluses and minuses to be right.
But it removes variance playing longer, in terms of you're more likely to have the better teams and the better coaches towards the top in a longer format. Yeah. But I found when I was playing Helves in Rebel that I spent the last 3 games of one of the seasons just running away from Dwarfs with Mighty Blow because there was nothing to gain out of it. Even if I won, there was nothing coming, and it was just Like I would
Yeah.
just let them score on their half if they just. I just run up the other
Maybe
side of the
like,
pitch. And...
like a lot of Ethelred's comments about turns going wrong. My response is usually, well, look further back, and maybe that's a sign of not winning enough before that.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's not that doesn't say the fact that I was like 2, 4, 5 at the 10 game point doesn't. None of that was on me running away, but it does lead to sometimes dead seasons.
Yeah, that is the problem, I think, because I'd love to play a 20-team league home and away, but the reality is, as I think we all know as admins or people who played in big leagues, that to keep people's interest when there's literally nothing to play for, when you're definitely going to be relegated, like you're kind of a Norwich of the Premiership at the moment for football.
Hey, I know that too. I'm actually a Norwich football fan, so I know that pain so well.
So yeah, but to keep someone playing at that level is really hard. If you're a footballer, obviously it's different because there's different expectation on you. But when you're playing with imaginary pixels in an hour-long game, hour and a half-long game, then yeah, it's just no way you're going to motivate people to play. At the end, you're going to get so.
I mean, so I always remember RPS's league structure used to be, what was it, 4 teams per division?
Oh yeah, that was
3 games. It's the most ridiculously swingy shit ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. But the problem with that was every game counted, but it was so swingy and so much admin work, wasn't it, Khornight? To do? Well, I did most of it. I've got to be honest, but yeah, it was so much admin work working out all the tie breaks that we had. That's why we've got like a ridiculously long tie break thing, isn't it? Because it did come down to every measure. Yeah, there was always a tie break, no matter where, no matter what.
So there was a season where in 3 games I scored 15 touchdowns because the season before I lost by 1 touchdown in a tie break. So I was so offended. I was playing Rats. I just was like, all right, I'm just going to score every chance I get. But yeah.
Okay. Well. Thank you to Dreamland for being our special guest. Hopefully you're around in the future. We'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm always happy to sort of, if I can move stuff around and stuff like that.
Great.
Then happy to sort of. I'm sure there'll be other people that hopefully at some point would. I think it's fun when you can do this sort of stuff and interact with people, and it's sort of. Basically, my girlfriend gets sick of me talking about how lovely my Nurgle team's doing and that I got a double on the rotter and stuff like that. So it's nice to have someone that actually is invested in hearing about it. And...
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, like the whole point of Twitch is like the chat. And by the way, hello, Lehman. How are you?
Yeah. Completely agreement, Lehman, with your comment. Yeah.
But yeah, this is like having the actual Twitch chat, in voice is nice. That's why it's good. Is being able to respond to people and being able to listen to them talk back and stuff.
And I think it was nice doing the game last week as well, where we were just talking through. Like I haven't played tabletop mostly because the idea of I've built minis, but the idea of painting anything drives me insane. It's too fiddly for me. I'm
my daughter's
far too much of ham-fisted.
Against the door, but
yeah, it's good fun to sort of have that interaction and do stuff with people in person and stuff like that. It's what I enjoyed when I was streaming my games as well. So it's been good fun. But always happy to sort of jump in and do these sort of things.
Well, we'll hopefully do it again soon. Right, I've got to. My daughter's desperately trying to get in, so I better attend to her COVID-ness. So, Khornight, who's on? Is Eliod still on?
I assume he's still on. He was making a desperate play for the Chalice with.
Is he still playing that Nurgle?
Yeah, well, basically they lost the game last night, and then I get pinged, or I see the who's streaming, and it's Eliod playing his Nurgle team again, and I before we started streaming, he ran into Daedalquist. I don't know how well he did. He's had another win to his record, so he's now 39-13-13, having played 65 games.
Oh wow!
And unable to. He's actually playing Minesweeper at the moment because his TV is so high that he can't spin into anyone. But I can't see anyone else who's.
Well, I got the leash streaming as well. But yeah, send our 7 views to. I'm sure they'd rather watch Eliot than play Minesweeper. No offense to the leash, but I don't think he's on a CCL run, is he? So.
I don't know who that is anyway, but yeah, cool.
Okay, he played in Stunty a couple of seasons ago.
I'm probably pronouncing his name differently in my head, and so I don't recognise it.
Yeah, you famously can't read, can you? So
No, bit dyslexic.
yeah, it's an excuse.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Cheers. Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. Good luck in your games this week, and we'll see you hopefully same time next week.
Well, Tuesday and Wednesday now. We're doing two a week,
Two
so
a week.
you know.
All right. Cheers, Tom.
Oh, cheers, and yeah, thanks, Lehman and Tom, and also Dreamland, and goodbye.
Bye.
Yes.
Has it gone? Yes, just gone. Right.